listen, I'm all in for a good conspiracy. I love hearing them, pitching them, thinking about them. A lot of times, some conspiracies end up being true, as wild as they may seem, right? We've got aliens and we've got, well, I won't even get into all of them because there's a ton of them. Some of them have some serious merit. Some of them pretty outlandish. The one that I think is probably the most outlandish of the most common conspiracies in the last calendar year is the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs, psyop, rigged, all of it. Most specifically, the Kansas City Chiefs being favored by the NFL. Saying that the NFL is rigged for the Chiefs is a lazy, tired, low IQ take and has almost no merit behind it based on pretty much any statistical data you can look at from the Chiefs and from the NFL officiating, from all of it. The Chiefs in the last 2 Super Bowls have not had one holding call against them. Well, the 49ers had 1 holding call, and last year in the Super Bowl, there were 0 holding calls on both teams. But what about in 2020 when the Chiefs played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Super Bowl? Chiefs had 3. Tom Brady had 0. So is it rigged for Brady or is it rigged for Mahomes? Or is the NFL just an entire rigged show and 22 guys on the field running and playing, being athletic at full speed is all just entirely fixed, made up, controlled outcome? The referees just call random arbitrary penalties that us as the viewers can see right away and say, that looks like the right call. Maybe that's not the right call, but they're just blatantly favoring one team. People act like the referees, when the Chiefs play, call 12 penalties a game on the opponent and 0 on the Chiefs. And every single time they call a penalty on the opponent, we never get to see the replay, or it's the worst call they've ever seen. And the Chiefs get nothing called against them. The Chiefs had a holding call against the Baltimore Ravens in the AFC Championship. That was an egregiously bad call by the referees that took 7 points off the board. For the Chiefs, 7 points gone because the refs messed up a call. People say the Chiefs have had no holding calls on their offensive line in the last 8 quarters of Super Bowl play. That's correct. 49ers had 1 in the entire game. Last year against the Eagles, neither team had an offensive line called for holding. Neither. In 2020, the Chiefs played the Bucs. The Bucs had a much better defensive game plan. The Chiefs were wildly unprepared, and the Chiefs had 3 offensive line holding calls. Bucs had 0. There's a lot of reasons you could attribute the Chiefs' success to. Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, Steve Spagnuolo, ownership, fandom, general manager, Tyreek Hill for a minute, great preparation, brilliant minds, perfect execution, great game plan, smart football, stepping up when the moment's big, making a play when you have to. Those are all fair and legitimate reasons. One reason that's not legitimate is that the refs in the NFL are favoring the Kansas City Chiefs. There's no statistical basis that you can put behind that that gives that any merit at all. It's not a real argument. It's never been a real argument. I'm not going to hear it from anybody else. Patrick Mahomes will go down as the greatest quarterback of all time when it's said and done. Newsflash, quarterback is the most important single position in any professional sport in the entire world, minus individual-based sports like tennis or golf. Quarterback is the most important single position in any team sport ever existed. Ever. Most important position. Oh, and Patrick Mahomes, the greatest ever to do it. Maybe that's why the Chiefs are good. Maybe Andy Reid being arguably the greatest coach of all time, maybe that has something to do with it. Nope, it's rigged. NFL's rigged. Goodell's rigged. It's all rigged. No, it's not. It's just not. Stop saying it's rigged. It's not rigged. Do you know how many people would have to be in on it for it to be rigged? Like, do you just understand? I just want to make sure people are like, do you know how many people would have to be in on it? Do you understand? Like thousands and thousands and thousands of people. So no one of those thousands of people would come out and say, yeah, this is a controlled outcome situation. Like, these aren't real results. The NFL is a rigged product. Oh, wait, you know why that hasn't happened? Because the NFL is not rigged. Oh, easy to understand. Easy concept. Yeah, there's no question that the leagues want to protect their superstars. That's why the NFL implemented those touchy-feely quarterback roughing the passer rules, because typically quarterbacks are the biggest stars in the league, and they want to make sure that their quarterbacks don't get smoked and they stay healthy and they can contribute to a team's success. The other part of it that I just can't seem to wrap my head around, the NFL, it's rigged for the Chiefs. They want them to win. They want the Swifties, and then they want Travis Kelce. They want Mahomes, and they want all this. I don't get it. I don't get how and why that would be their motivation. Wouldn't it be bad for a league to have a dynasty? Like, isn't that like a bad thing? Wouldn't the league, to maximize its potential, to maximize its fan engagement across all parts of the league and all fan bases, wouldn't they want the love to be dispersed a little bit more? Would they want more teams, different franchises, different parts of the country to win Super Bowls? Don't you think it's kind of bad for the league when the Patriots were a dynasty, now the Chiefs a dynasty? Because everyone besides the Chiefs doesn't like the Chiefs. Everyone besides the Patriots and Tom Brady didn't like the Patriots. So for them to continue to win, isn't that not a great idea or business model? So why would the NFL rig it in favor of the Chiefs? What's the benefit? Maybe this year it's Taylor Swift. Maybe it's the Swifties and you get I'm just playing devil's advocate because that's BS too. I don't agree with it. But let's just say they rigged it this year and they wanted to get the Swifties involved. What about last year? What about 2 years ago or 3 years ago during COVID or 2020? What about when they played San Francisco the last time? Why did the Chiefs win? And then won again last year and then won again this year. It's just for Taylor Swift, is all for Taylor Swift and the Swifties? It was a buildup of 3 championships in 5 years for the Swifties? What? Dynasties aren't good for the league. After 3 years in the NBA, when it was Golden State and the Cleveland Cavaliers every single year in the NBA Finals, people were like, okay, enough. I'm over it. The overall concept, people saying it's rigged. It's rigged for the Chiefs. The NFL rigged it for the Chiefs. They're going to continue to rig it for the Chiefs. It's always been rigged. It's a controlled outcome product. Why would they do that? That is a bad business model. That is a bad product. People don't want to see the same teams in the championship every single year. People want storylines. Anybody with a brain and eyes going through social media during the conference championship games said, we want Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, and we want the Detroit Lions. 2 awesome storylines. 2 teams that have played their tails off, absolutely deserve it, and will be an awesome game to watch in the Super Bowl. And it was the opposite. People were like, oh, everybody is like, it's rigged. Wait, why would the league rig it into a situation that's not favorable for their best viewership numbers? Why would they do that? Why would they create a dynasty? It doesn't make sense. There's no value or merit to that for the league. They would want to spread the wealth out. All right, the Chiefs can win one, give one to another team. Man, maybe the Chiefs again, but we got to give another one to another team. Or we go Chiefs, 2 years of 2 new champions, and then we'll go Chiefs again. And then a couple more, and maybe sprinkle in a third for the Chiefs so they can get their. It makes no sense for just a dynasty to just be created by the league. It doesn't benefit the NFL to have the Chiefs be a dynasty. Oh, the Swifties, all these girls are watching. That's just not a thing. It's not enough. It's just not. And even if it was for this year, even if, let's just say, for argument's sake, rigged the entire thing for the Chiefs so the Swifties would watch, what about last year? What about 3 years ago when they played the Niners last time? Why? What's the benefit of them winning the Super Bowl every single year for the NFL? There is none. That's the answer. There is none. It's stupid for them to do that from a business perspective. They are alienating and neglecting the rest of the league. They're not spreading the wealth. These other fan bases are not interested if the Chiefs win it every single year. It doesn't do the league any justice. If it were up to the NFL and they absolutely rigged everything, I promise you, they wouldn't let the Chiefs do what they just did. I promise you. They would have wanted this year maybe Baltimore with Lamar Jackson. Last year, the Eagles, because they have top 3 fan base in terms of popularity in the NFL. They wouldn't have just let Joe Burrow beat Kansas City at home. It doesn't make sense for the league to rig the product and then create a dynasty. It doesn't make sense. They're alienating the rest of the league, the rest of the fan bases. They're not spreading the wealth evenly. And if they were to have done that, they're doing themselves a massive disservice by just promoting one team. That doesn't make sense. Why would they do that? It doesn't make sense. It's stupid. Stop saying it was rigged. It's not rigged. Instead of saying that the NFL is rigged and they rig it for the Chiefs, why don't we acknowledge that Andy Reid is the best or second best coach of all time? If he continues on this trajectory, Patrick Mahomes will be the greatest quarterback of all time. Newsflash, quarterback is the single most important individual position in any team sport ever, no matter what. And when you have the best guy to ever do it at that position and a top 2 coach and great ownership and a great fan base, you're probably going to win a lot of football games. You're going to make plays in big moments. You're going to execute perfectly at the right time, and you're going to win championships. You're not going to win every single championship because that's not realistic, but you're going to win a lot. That's the Chiefs in a nutshell. It's not rigged. If they wanted to benefit themselves the most, they being the NFL, they would spread the wealth. They wouldn't alienate other fan bases. They wouldn't make the Cowboys not win the Super Bowl every year. The Cowboys have the biggest fan base in the NFL. Why don't they win the Super Bowl? Wouldn't that help the NFL? I could tell you the Cowboys winning the Super Bowl would launch the NFL's revenue into the stratosphere. But the Cowboys never win the Super Bowl. Oh, that's right, because the NFL is not rigged. Stop saying it's rigged. It's not rigged. It's never going to be rigged. It's not a controlled outcome product. If it was rigged, thousands of people would be involved. Somebody at some point at this margin of the world we live in would have come out and said, yeah, this is rigged. But that hasn't happened yet. I wonder why. Oh, because it's not rigged. Stop saying it's rigged. It's not. It's not rigged. It's impossible to rig the NFL. Even with the officiating. Oh, but the refs call all the, we can see it on the TV. If they throw a holding call or they call pass interference or they say roughing the passer and they never touch the quarterback, we would go, that's a horrendous call. NFL, what are you doing? But that doesn't happen. I mean, it happens sometimes, but it's not just the Chiefs. The Chiefs don't just get 80 free yards of penalties every single game. The Chiefs didn't get one single offensive line holding call against them the last two Super Bowls. Cool. The last two Super Bowls have had one total offensive line holding call in 8 quarters. Guess what? The Chiefs execute. The Chiefs play calling doesn't allow for their offensive linemen to get put in a bad position so they don't get beat off the line of scrimmage and they don't have to hold the defender. That's how it works. Andy Reid is probably the best offensive play caller in the history of the sport, with the best quarterback of all time when it's all said and done. 1 + 1 = 2. 2 being wins. Stop saying it's rigged, dude. Stop. It's not. It's not. I'm not a Chiefs fan. I'm just telling you it's not rigged. Wake up.